All right. Hi, guys. This is not the live session that occurred earlier today. I decided just to make a quick recording for those of you who couldn't make it, or this recording is also available for those of you that were in the session, but you were having some issues with your technology. I know some of the students reported that the technology was glitching and you were having a hard time doing the activity. So, first of all, happy Friday. I'm so happy to see you all, even though I can't see you, but we're virtual. What I wanted to start off today, this is going to be a self paced Pear Deck. I like to use these a lot. A reminder that Pear Deck automatically saves. So, when you get in and you do the work, I'll be able to see that you did it. So if you were not in the live session, I'd love to hear your rose and thorn for the week. I told the students that were live, this is something that we do in my house every night at dinner time. We talk about the good and the bad of the day. So after a full week of remote learning, what are you feeling good about? That's your rose. And what are you feeling not so good about still? That's your thorn. Um, Really, what today's live lesson was about was evaluating online resources. Earlier in the week, when you've done your work, we started off with primary versus secondary sources. A primary source, something that a person has witnessed, right? Or a documentation of something someone has witnessed, a photograph, a diary entry. Whereas a secondary source is something that maybe a person didn't witness firsthand. Maybe they researched an event and then they wrote about it. So we did that. And then if you recall, we looked at the transparent toilets in our live session on Wednesday, and we looked at different sources. And we talked about the fact that in order to get a good idea about a topic, you should look at all different resources to come up with the most informed opinion. All of what you're seeing right now with our remote learning, or most of it, right? These are online sources. And now we need to talk about how to evaluate websites and why it's important. So, in the live session today, we talked about the fact that any person can publish almost anything that they want on the internet. And you all know that by the time you get to sixth grade, you can make something look super pretty, really informative, and people will believe it, and you can publish it out there for free. Web sources don't have to be professionally accepted most of the time to be published, whereas a book, things like that, there's a huge process a person has to go through to get that work out there. So the first thing you want to make sure that you do when you go to a website, you want to look at the dots. And what do I mean by that? If I pull up a website, let's say, of course, I can't think of a website off the top of my head. Let's look at Springfield Local Schools. So I do a Google search for Springfield, and I want to come to it, right? The dots, what is this? Is it a .com? Is it a .org? Is it a .edu? And those dots will sometimes automatically clue you in if their website is legitimate. So when we come back here, it's just taking a minute to load. .org, that's what I noticed Springfield Schools was. That's a nonprofit. That means it's not out there to make money. Nonprofits, they don't make money like that. .edu, you'll see that with a lot of colleges. That's an educational organization. .com is a for-profit business. They're going to be making money, or personal sites, and so on. So really pay attention to that. It's going to let you know where did that website come from. And then I like to tell students to use something called CARS. It looks at a website and you want to think, is it credible? Is it accurate? Is it reasonable? And do others support it? So as far as if it's credible, you want to try to figure out, is there an author, or is there a group that sponsors the website? Who are they? What are their credentials? Is there contact information? What does the site look like? Warning signs. Is it anonymous? Are there tons of misspellings? Are there faulty links? Does it look sloppy? The A in CARS stands for accuracy. When was the material compiled or created? When was it presented? Is it recent? And really that recent thing, right? Especially if you're looking up a topic that could have changed a lot in the last few years. if you Google up something and you notice that website's from 2001, that's a long time ago. So it might not be accurate information anymore. Is it reasonable? I always tell students if something is too good to be true, it probably is. So when you're checking out a website and a source, does it make sense? Is it reasonable? Does it not have bias? And every human has bias, but we're looking at those unfair opinions one way or the other. So warning signs. Do you see emotional language? Does it seem to be one-sided? And then lastly, is there support of that website? Do others support it? Do reliable people say, yes, this is a good site to use? So what we did in our live session and what I want you all to do on your self-paced Pear Deck is you're going to take a look at a few different websites. When you take a look at the websites, I want you to remember these steps. Is it a trustworthy source? Is it credible? Is it accurate? Is it up to date? Are they facts? Is it detailed? Is it reasonable? Does it seem fair? Does it seem real? Is it unbiased? And then support. Do other people support it? Are the people that put out the website, do they have a list of resources? So you'll see up top here, there are 5 different websites I want you to go to. For each of those websites, I want you to look at it and I want you to tell me, does it seem to be reliable or not? And then I put 2 reasons, just give me at least 1. You're going to answer that on the Pear Deck. The last slide on the Pear Deck are just a few other fun websites for you to look at, and you can try to figure out if they're reliable or not. And once you've answered them on the Pear Deck, your information will be automatically captured and you're good to go. But the websites, they're all different. For example, this first one will take you to a place called Dog Island. And feel free, you can look at them, you can click around on them, and you tell me, is it real or not? You're not going to lose points or anything if you get it wrong. This was just an activity that we ran together today as part of our live session. So once you are finished with that, you are good to go. And I encourage you, go back into your social studies classroom. Make sure you have every assignment that's due. Make sure that they are completed by Monday at midnight. And I will be posting all of your work for next week by Monday at noon. And Monday is Labor Day, so you don't technically have to chime in that day, but it will all still be posted. All right, guys, I will see you soon.